Hello Goddesses, my name is Sherry Kumar of thegoddessprinciples.net, and today's video is about my latest blog post titled Unconditional Love Comes to Those Who Don't Believe in Conditions. Let's think about this for a second. What exactly is unconditional love? By definition, it is love without conditions. Yet so many of us have a long list of conditions under which we're willing to explore a relationship with somebody. A lot of my mentoring clients from thegoddessprinciples.net contact me because that's exactly what they're looking for. They're looking for the one, and they have no problem meeting people, yet they have a very hard time taking our relationships to the commitment level, or a proposal or marriage, or finding satisfaction in existing relationships. And when we explore those relationships, I always have them list all their conditions, and it's surprising how long those lists are, considering they are in fact looking for unconditional kind of love. So let's explore that for a second and try to figure out, what is it about those conditions that we're imposing on people that are so necessary, that that makes love impossible, makes a relationship impossible. I think a lot of it has to do with how we're brought up. We keep talking about unconditional love as if it's the ultimate goal in life. Yet, so much of what we're taught by our parents, religion, soap operas, romance novels has a lot to do with conditions. For example, a lot of my friends are looking for marriage and commitment and a lifetime dedication. And when they don't get that kind of a commitment that they're looking for, they claim that they are not receiving love. Well, commitment is definitely a condition. Marriage is a condition. That wedding ring is definitely a condition. So if you believe firmly in those conditions, then do you really believe in unconditional love? Yes, but I want unconditional love that leads to marriage. I want unconditional love that lasts forever. How can you impose forever on somebody you love unconditionally? Unconditional means if that person leaves, if that person chooses to grow and evolve and find somebody else at a later date who is a better match for them, you can still love that person regardless of whether they're here or with somebody else. No, I can't have that. I won't have that. And so, in fact, we all have a very long list of conditions. And my question is, okay, it's perfectly all right to have conditions. It's perfectly okay to have requirements. That's fine, but then let's not call that unconditional love. Let's call it for what it is. Perhaps what you're looking for is a contract. Perhaps what you're looking for is a promise, an unbreakable, unshakable promise that this relationship will last forever. I've never met a person who has managed to be committed to something or someone forever. Of course, there are people out there, my parents included, who've been married most of their lives. They've been married well over 45 years. But they're committed to the marriage and the contract and preserving that security. They're not necessarily committed to each other. And I'm not sure that you can call that love. Their relationship, like many relationships that have lasted that long, really is based on tradition, expectation, unwillingness to make a change, fear of loss, fear of losing the familiar and having to start anew. but I wouldn't necessarily say that is a love that lasts forever. Perhaps it's a marriage that will last as long as they last, but definitely not unconditional love. And even within that marriage, there are a lot of conditions. I will be kind to you as long as you treat me this way. I will treat you well as long as you give me this or that. We all know people who've been married forever or almost a lifetime. Is that really unconditional love? And is that really the kind of love people today are striving for? We live in an age where we can have anything we want. Our expectations are greater, and I think that's a wonderful thing. I think it's amazing that, you know, women have come such a long way, and we are educated, we are smarter, we are much more self-aware, we are ambitious, and naturally, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that, naturally we want more out of our lives. We want more out of our relationships. Our expectations are higher, and I think that's very, very healthy. Contrary to what the media says, that's very, very healthy for women and very healthy for relationships as well. But now that we can afford to look for better kinds of relationships, then let's examine what such a relationship is. Is it still the kind of marriage that our parents have? Is it still the kind of marriage that necessarily must last forever? Is it still the kind of marriage that textbooks and relationship experts insist is the right kind of relationship? My theory is a little different from what general public believes or what the experts believe, because I am very, very much pro-human being and pro-woman, and I believe in self-empowerment and living life to the fullest, experiencing life exactly how we want to experience it, and that's very individual. We can't follow prescription or textbook definition of what love or marriage is or should be. We really have to find that within ourselves and commit to ourselves to live up to that expectation. So once again, there's nothing wrong with having great expectations. There is something wrong with then trying to match those expectations to how culture and society define marriage and the perfect relationship. So getting back to unconditional love, unconditional love is really pure love. There's nothing more pure than unconditional love. It is love that's free of conditions, free of rules, free of regulations, free of a contract, free of guilt, free of requiring the other person to behave a certain way or to be who we need them to be. It's free of everything. Unconditional love, and there's only one kind of unconditional love, is the love within ourselves. It's the love for ourselves. It's the love that you feel for the entire world, no matter what. When you can experience unconditional love, the other person is really of no consequence. Of course, the other person matters, but whether they're here or whether they leave you doesn't matter. The love remains within you. Just because you have gone through a breakup doesn't mean that you have lost love. It just means that that person has walked away. The love remains in your heart, and you're free to love that person even after the breakup. So when you're in touch with that unconditional love for the self, you come to this very powerful realization that love can never be lost. It cannot go away. If you feel it in your heart every moment, every day, it will stay with you through many relationships. And it's a very powerful concept because once you learn to practice it, you will see amazing results from it. One of the first things that I noticed is that the more I love myself, the more other people love me. And that's not just relationships, but pretty much everybody. I love myself unconditionally. I project that out to the world every day, all day long. One of the first things I notice is that strangers react to me in a very positive way. People I don't even know send me love. I walk into a bookstore, I walk into a party, I'm projecting, I'm beaming love, and people are automatically coming to me and offering me loving comments, loving embraces, loving words. One of the second things that I noticed is that my friendships and my relationships with my family members have become better. Better in the sense that, you know, those friendships and family members who are not capable of offering unconditional love are slowly leaving my experience, and friends who are capable of that, there's more of them. I'm making more friends, more new people are coming into my life. And they're all very loving people. They're all very giving people. They do not believe in trading love. You don't have to do anything to complete me. You don't have to behave a certain way to please me. You don't have to be who I need you to be. It's okay to be yourself because I am me. I love me no matter what. So that's what unconditional love is. It's love for the self. As long as you have that love for the self, you have eternal love. You have love that cannot be taken away. It cannot disappear. As long as you have that unconditional love for the self, you in fact have eternal love. You have love that cannot be taken away. You have love that cannot disappear. You find yourself in very healthy situations. You allow people to come into your life. You accept them exactly who they are without having to ask them to be something they're not, without having to ask them to behave in a way that would please you. You have no requirements of them. You don't have to ask them to be anything or do anything for you. When you have that eternal love, unconditional love for the self and for them, they are okay exactly as they are. So what does that mean in relationships? In relationships, that means that you welcome that person into your life and you can objectively observe them. You don't have needs from that person. You don't need that person to complete you, to be anything for you. You can simply enjoy their company, and that's actually the nicest part of a relationship, is just getting to know somebody, enjoying them for who they are as people. Everybody has positive qualities regardless of whether you're going to keep them in your life long term or not, so why not discover that? Love is all about the process. Relationships are about the process of getting to know somebody, so why kill it right away if you know that person is not going to walk your path for eternity? Why not simply enjoy the love? When you have unconditional love, you can do that. You can enjoy the company of whoever you choose without fear that you're going to lose them. You know you cannot lose love. And it's a very liberated way and a very empowering way to go through relationships. I know that I no longer have a fear of losing people, and that's extremely empowering because now I know that I can choose. People walk into my life every day. People are asking me out more often than ever. A few years ago, when I started practicing unconditional love for the self, I got asked out 73 times in a year, and I was very surprised to see how many people were interested in me. The reason they're interested in me is because I'm easy to be with. They can sense right away that no conditions will be placed upon them right away or ever. I'm free to enjoy their company. They're free to enjoy my company. It's all about enjoyment of each other without any rules and regulations. That makes me a very pleasant person to be with. But also it makes me, it gives me a choice, knowing that I will always be meeting new people. Wonderful people are always going to be coming into my life. They're all going to treat me beautifully and offer me a lot of affection and kindness and pure love. Makes me like a kid in a candy store. Now I can pick and choose. I'm not worried that I'm going to lose him if I decide I'd like to explore a relationship with somebody else. I'm not worried that if I choose to continue dating, I'm not going to find Prince Charming by a certain age, or my biological clock will expire. I don't fear that I will be alone for the rest of my life. I don't fear that because I see that the more people I love, the more I love myself. The more people freely come into my life. I let go of people very, very easily. I always wish them the best. I continue to love them no matter what, despite everything that has happened. There's no regrets. There's no hurt, there's no anger, there's no victimhood just because a relationship didn't work out. I understand that person never owed me a relationship in the first place. That person never owed me his forever. A human being doesn't owe you anything. You owe all of that to yourself. So if you're willing to do the work on yourself and explore yourself and get to know your inner self, you will discover love, and you will discover its purity, and you'll realize that the only kind of love that is absolutely pure is the love for the self. It's not complicated. It's not demanding. It is just acceptance of all there is and love for everything that surrounds us. One of the other things that I noticed is that now that I find myself in this unconditional place of love, men treat me 1,000 times better than ever before. They put a lot of effort into getting to know me, pursuing a relationship with me. It's no longer, about a casual relationships. They really are striving and working very, very hard to figure out how to get commitment out of me. Me being loving to everybody, I have no ulterior motives. I never am looking to bind somebody, to commit them to me. For me, this is all just about exploration, getting to know somebody, enjoying their company, seeing what this turns into. But getting back to that, I find that most of my relationships now are much, much, much more loving. Men are much more affectionate with me. They're much more kind to me. They're much more respectful of me because they see how much I love myself, how much I respect myself. There is no compromise in that department. A lot of them have said that I'm a pleasure to be with because I'm so uncomplicated. There is no drama, there's no emotional manipulation, there's no ulterior motive when you're in a relationship with me. What you see is exactly what you get when all you see is an unconditionally loving person who's never going to ask you for more. Obviously, that's a very pleasant person to be with, and obviously you're going to try to figure out, well, how can I see more of that person? How can I have that person more in my life? So what I'm seeing in the last few years is that every single man I've met in the last 3 or 4 years has wanted commitment, has brought up the topic of marriage, has tried to figure out how we can make things work. And so relationships are becoming effortless. I'm simply pouring out love. I share it freely, unconditionally, without expectations. And I'm in every relationship purely for the enjoyment of that person, not because I hope to get something out of that. When love is based on what you can get out of it, whether it's marriage, commitment, affection, whatever it is that you need, that is not pure love. That is about that particular need, but it's definitely not pure love. And it's okay. I don't have a problem with marriage. I have no problem with commitment. Everybody wants all of those things, and I think that they're absolutely entitled to it. But ask yourself, what is unconditional love, and are you prepared to be that way? Are you prepared to be the type of person who is projecting unconditional love? That's the only way you're going to receive it. The only way you're going to receive it is if you drop the conditions. How do you drop the conditions? If you really, really want unconditional love, you must drop the traditional conditions that we impose on love. It must lead to something. It must lead to commitment. It must lead to marriage within a certain period of time. It must lead to exclusivity. You must behave a certain way in order to be lovable. You must give me adequate amounts of attention. You must drop that list. We all have the list. Be open with yourself. Take out a pen and paper and write down your list and go through each point and search within yourself and try to eliminate it. Once you eliminate that, you'll find that love finds you faster. In my observation, it's the women who get married the fastest or the soonest in life are the ones who had no expectations of marriage at all. Why? It was never a condition. And women who get married later on in life usually tend to find that perfect lover after they have given up on love or after they have given up on the idea of marriage. When you drop that condition, that's exactly when you become a better match to it, or more a better magnet to that kind of love. So drop your conditions, ladies. For more information about this concept, I have written a blog post this morning, and it really is unconditional love comes to those who drop their conditions or who have no conditions. I have posted a link to the blog post below, or if you'd like to read more about me or my services, go to the www.thegoddessprinciples.net /blog if you'd like to read my blogs. You could also find me on Instagram, Pinterest, and Facebook. I love to talk to you. I welcome all of your questions. Feel free to contact me on my website. There is a contact form. You fill that out, and perhaps I'll post one of your questions on my YouTube videos. For now, thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe if you're interested, and have a great day. Bye.